Plenty of bad things happen in these halls every day, but there is always something good waiting just around the corner.
All right, well, I thought that you could use one of these.
My little boy, no.
We rise together, we fall together.
It all comes down to family.
Thank God for General Hospital.
Yes.
The mystery of who shot Drew Kane has officially kicked into high gear. Not only are several residents suspects, but the whole town of Port Charles is speculating on who pulled the trigger. The General Hospital spoilers for Friday, September 5th, 2025, are out, and the murder is what everyone is talking about. Jason is also back in Dalmatia, and he has found himself being a target. Let's check out the latest GH spoilers together. Today's spoilers clip opens with Diane asking Sunny who she should be preparing to defend. They are no doubt discussing Drew's shooting, and the list of suspects connected to Sunny is long. Aside from him, there are also Carly, Alexis, and, right at the top, his son, Michael. Tracy has already said that she saw Michael outside of Drew's when he was shot, so could he have been the one to pull the trigger twice? Next, we jump to a heated conversation between Christina and Alexis. Christina is insisting to her mother that bringing Scout to the house would be the worst thing. Alexis may be Scout's grandmother, but she is currently hiding Rick in the basement, which is a place the young girl shouldn't be. Back at General Hospital, Portia and Nina are discussing the shooting. Drew and his leverage have tormented both women. Could one of them be the shooter? Portia seems to have an alibi with Isaiah, but what about Nina? She did lie to use Willow as a convenient alibi. Also at GH, Lulu is in reporter mode as she asks Willow some questions. Will she give Lulu the information that she is angling for? There is still a lot unfolding at the Five Poppies Resort in Croatia. The spoiler clip shows Josslyn and Vaughn now tied together, back to back. She asks him if he was really going to sacrifice his life for her. These two have been undercover as newlyweds for weeks and have proven their loyalty to each other since their cover has been blown. How will Vaughn answer? Are real feelings flying in between all the sparks? We then see Anna reminding Brennan that he owes her and reassuring him that she will collect. She's been on him for weeks about recruiting Joss into the WSB, threatening to tell Carly everything. Is she going to use Brennan to help solve the mystery of who shot Drew? The last frame of Friday's GH spoiler video shows a gun going off and Jason jumping out of the way. Clearly, he has returned to the Five Poppies. Will he be able to rescue Joss, Vaughn, and Britt before it is too late? Check out the GH spoilers for Friday, September 5th, 2025, below. Port Charles is a powder keg, and on Thursday, September 5th, the fuse is lit. This is not just an episode. It's an event. From the explosive aftermath of Jason's return to the terrifying consequences of a young man's desperate act, the lives of our favorite characters will be irrevocably changed. Strap in, because the mayhem is not coming. It's already here. The aftermath at the Metro Court, a bombshell named Jason Morgan. The dust has barely settled from the shocking reveal that the man standing beside John Jagger, Cates, is, in fact, Jason Morgan. But for Sonny Corinthos, the dust is the least of his concerns. The look of utter betrayal on his face as he stared down his once brother, his most loyal ally, will haunt the halls of the Metro Court for years to come. Our spoilers indicate that the immediate fallout is chaotic and emotionally charged. Carly is caught in the crossfire, her loyalties between the husband she loves and the friend she thought she'd lost forever. She will desperately try to play peacemaker, but her words fall on deaf ears. Sonny is seeing red, and all he can focus on is the undeniable fact. Jason is alive, he's been alive, and he chose to side with the enemy. The philosophical question of what is truth that Jagger posed becomes painfully personal. Sonny's truth has been shattered. Meanwhile, Jason remains stoic, but a close-up reveals the storm in his blue eyes. He will attempt to explain himself, to cut through the noise and make Sonny understand the impossible position he was in. He'll speak of pikemen, of the larger conspiracy, and of being forced into an agreement with the WSB to bring down a common enemy. But Sonny is in no mood for explanations that sound like excuses. A heated confrontation erupts, with Sonny throwing a punch that Jason doesn't bother to block. This physical blow symbolizes the breaking of their bond. The real question becomes, is there any coming back from this? And what does Jagger have planned now that his ultimate pawn is in play? Ava's agony, a mother's worst fear realized. Across town, a different, more visceral terror is unfolding. Ava Jerome's world collapses in on itself when she discovers that her daughter, Avery Corinthos, is missing. The panic is immediate and all-consuming. Our sources tell us that Ava's first call is to Sonny, but he's embroiled in his own world-shattering crisis at the Metro Court and misses the call. This only amplifies her isolation and fear. Nina Reeves, surprisingly, becomes a pillar of support. Despite their tumultuous history, Nina recognizes the pure, unadulterated fear of a mother who believes her child is in danger. She helps Avery trace her steps, contacting the school and anyone who might have seen Avery. The trail leads them to a terrifying realization. Avery was last seen getting into a car she thought was her father's. The description matches Sonny's town car, but Sonny didn't send for her. The evidence points to one horrifying conclusion. This was a planned abduction. But by whom? Is this a move from a rival organization looking to hurt Sonny? Or is it something even more sinister and personal? Ava's mind races to the most dangerous people in her past, and her terror reaches a fever pitch. She makes a decision. If the police can't move fast enough, she will take matters into her own hands. The fierce, protective mama bear is out of her cage, and she will stop at nothing to get her cub back. Dex's desperate gambit. A life hangs in the balance. The tension reaches a critical, life-or-death crescendo at General Hospital itself. Dex Heller, bleeding out from a gunshot wound intended for Sonny, is rushed into emergency surgery. The hallway outside the OR is a portrait of despair and anxiety. Josslyn Jax is utterly shattered, her tears a silent testament to her love and fear. She blames herself, wondering if her push for Dex to leave Sonny's employ indirectly led him to this moment. By her side, Michael Corinthos wears a mask of grim concern, but beneath it, his mind is racing. Dex was his asset, his eyes and ears inside his father's organization. The information Dex was gathering is now more critical than ever, especially with Jason's shocking return. Michael is torn between brotherly concern for the man who helped protect his sister and the cold, calculating need to secure that data before it's lost forever. The real drama, however, unfolds behind the surgical doors. The medical team, led by a determined Dr. Hamilton Finn, fights a brutal battle to save Dex's life. The bullet nicked a major artery, and he's lost a tremendous amount of blood. The situation is dire. Our spoilers hint that the surgery will have several tense moments where Dex's fate truly hangs in the balance. Finn will be forced to make a risky, split-second decision that could either save Dex or end him. Furthermore, the presence of the PCPD complicates matters. Detective Chase is on site, needing a statement about the shooting. But with the victim fighting for his life and the primary witness, Sonny, nowhere to be found, the investigation is stalled. The attempted murder of Congressman Drew Kane has turned Port Charles upside down this week. The list of potential suspects is long, leaving the PCPD to have their work cut out for them. The latest spoilers show that Anna, Dante, and Chase are interviewing suspects. Also, Trina is terrified over what she has witnessed, and Willow has a very pointed question for her mother. Let's check out the General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, September 4th, 2025. The news of Drew Kane's shooting is quickly traveling through Port Charles, leaving residents on edge. The spoiler clip for September 4th, 2025, opens with Trina shaken. She and Kai were hiding in Drew's house when he was shot, and they are at odds over whether or not leaving through the back door was the right thing to do. Trina is also worrying about someone else. What if she does something even more extreme tonight? Trina asks Kai. She is likely referring to her mother, Portia, whom Drew has been blackmailing for months. Next, in the clip, we see Lulu sharing a meal with someone. She tells them, "If you're willing to risk all of that, this must be big." Is she meeting with her mother? If so, what is Laura about to risk, and why? There are plenty of potential suspects in the shooting of Congressman Drew Kane, and Anna, Dante, and Chase are all on the job. So many Port Charles residents have publicly threatened to kill Drew that they have several people at the top of the suspect list. Dante visits Alexis to ask some questions about her whereabouts, and she isn't cooperating. "I have to ask you to leave," she tells him. Dante may think that this makes Alexis look more suspicious, but her reaction is likely because she is still holding Rick hostage in her basement. Anna and Chase are also sifting through potential suspects. "Are you suggesting that that makes her innocent?" she asks him. Who is Anna talking about, and what will Chase's response be? Meanwhile, back at the QS, Tracy is filling Michael in on discovering Drew bleeding out from 2 gunshot wounds. "Make sure Monica never hears about this," Tracy tells him. The final scene of today's spoiler clip features Nina trying to talk to Willow at GH. Up until now, Willow has insisted that she wants nothing to do with her mother. We see Willow ask, "How did you know Drew was shot?" That's a good question. Check out the GH spoiler clip for Thursday, September 4th, 2025 below. The residents of Port Charles agree on one thing. Everyone wants Drew dead, and several people have told him so right to his face. Friday's episode of General Hospital left fans with several cliffhangers, including Britt finding Josslyn and Vaughn being held captive, and then just leaving them there. Also, Willow thinks reuniting with Drew will get her kids back, and the judge who handled her custody case is currently floating in the water by the docks. Let's take a look at the GH spoilers, as reported by soaps.com, for the week of September 1st, 2025. Monday's episode will be preempted and replaced with an old episode because of Labor Day. Carly is full of warnings lately. She just threatened to kill Drew in front of Elizabeth, and now she is issuing another warning. Spoilers suggest that a shocking and violent twist is coming in today's episode. Could Drew finally get what he deserves? Despite her better judgment at times, Elizabeth is still supporting Willow and her quest to regain custody of her children. Sonny has grim news to deliver. Does it have anything to do with Michael's custody judge being dead in the water at the docks? Lucas warns Elizabeth about something. Will it be about her supporting Willow? Or is there something else on his mind? Portia makes an announcement today. Will she finally come clean about changing Heather Weber's lab results? Dante and Anna respond to a 911 call that will require some investigation. Anna and Dante find themselves putting on their investigation hats as they respond to a call of the 911 variety. Michael leans on Brooklyn. Port Charles is reeling from the latest violent crime. Several residents are easy suspects, so Chase and Anna have their investigative work cut out for them. Something has really scared Trina? Has Drew gotten to her directly? Or is it something else? Nina decides to take a huge risk, and it is likely intended to help her daughter, Willow. Curtis and Jordan have a serious conversation. Jason is shocked by something at the Five Poppies Resort. Has he found Josslyn? Speaking of Joss, she and Vaughn are starting to think that this is the end for them. Brennan manipulates Anna. Alexis is shocked by something. Has Rick escaped her basement, or is it about Drew? Michael finds an important piece of information that may help him. While chaos reigns elsewhere, Cyrus Renault continues his masterful manipulation of the vulnerable citizens of Port Charles. His community outreach is in full swing, and he set his sights on his newest project, Laura Collins. In a brilliantly staged chance meeting, Cyrus will appeal to Laura's compassionate nature and her role as mayor. He will speak eloquently about redemption, second chances, and his desire to use his resources, ill-gotten though they may be, to genuinely help the city he once terrorized. He'll propose a partnership, a city-sponsored program for addiction recovery funded by a generous, anonymous donation, which, of course, is from him. Laura is no fool, and her distrust of Cyrus is deeply ingrained. However, he is cunning, using just the right amount of biblical scripture and self-flagellating humility to plant a seed of doubt. Is it possible for a man to truly change? Laura's innate belief in the good in everyone wars with her sharp political instincts. The spoilers suggest she will agree to consider his proposal, a move that will horrify Kevin when he finds out. Cyrus's game is long, and he's playing it perfectly. Elsewhere in Port Charles, ripples of the coming storm. Elizabeth and Finn. The connection between Liz and Finn deepens as they work together to save Dex. The high-stress environment forces them to rely on each other completely, and a moment of quiet intensity in the scrub room after the surgery could signal a significant step forward in their slow-burn romance. The Quartermaines. The family is abuzz with the news of Jason's return, but for Tracy Quartermaine, it's a secondary concern. Her primary focus is on deception and the looming threat of Nina's influence. She will confront Ned Quartermaine, demanding to know where his loyalties lie, with his family's company or with the woman who broke his nephew's heart. Blaze and Christina. The new couple attempts to have a quiet, normal date, seeking a refuge from the storm swirling around their families. However, the drama finds them when Christina gets a frantic call from her mother about Avery. They are quickly pulled into the search, testing the strength of their new relationship under pressure. Anna and Valentine. The hunt for Brennan continues. Anna, armed with new information from a reluctant Valentine, who may know more than he's letting on, begins to close the net. Their investigation will lead them to a shocking location that connects Brennan to another powerful figure in Port Charles's past. September 5th, a day that will change everything. This episode is a masterclass in escalating tension. It expertly weaves together the epic, mob-based drama of Jason's return with the intimate, heart-stopping terror of a child's abduction and the raw human fear of a life on the operating table. It's a reminder that in Port Charles, no one is safe, and the past is never. General Hospital delivered a shocking twist in the September 3rd, 2025, episode of the show, where Drew was shot. Actor Cameron Matheson has explained why this storyline makes sense for the character in a recent interview. Why Cameron Matheson wants to explore Drew getting shot storyline. Cameron Matheson spoke to Soap Opera Digest recently about this new Drew storyline, where the character was shot twice. Not only did Drew surround himself with enemies, but fans may also have been hoping for his downfall. Matheson said, "Obviously, everybody hates me like crazy, but at the same time, they had to do that for the last 4 or 5 months." He added, "They can't just have people not like me. They have to have people want to kill me. And in order to have multiple people want to kill you, you've got to be pretty despicable, and they've done a really good job with that with Drew." As this moment had been building for some time, the actor was excited about taking it on. Since the show has not revealed the identity of the shooter, the storyline remains even more compelling. "I'm super excited about it," Matheson said. "You know, I watched Dallas back in the day, and in many ways, it's very in line with the Who Shot JR story. I don't care if you're the punching bag for all of Port Charles, you're still the center of the story, and that feels really cool. I'm like, bring it on. Let me be the punching bag. I got this, and I'm gonna punch right back." He further reflected on the role, saying, "I was really excited to take it on. It's not every day that you get to take a gunshot on camera, and I really wanted to get that right and fall hard. And then, from the audience perspective, I knew, the viewers are gonna love this. They all want to shoot Drew. Everybody wants Drew shot and dead. So I wanted to make sure that I gave them my all." But with Drew's shooting, General Hospital has a huge mystery on hand. The show can explore this in the coming weeks. Now that Drew's been shot and left for dead, the suspect lost is pouring in on the September 3rd, 2025 episode of General Hospital. Who found Drew? After receiving 2 gunshots to the back, it was Kai, Jens Austin Astrup, who recently opened up about his family tragedy, and Trina, Tabiana Ali, who first discovered Drew, Cameron Matheson, on the living room floor. Trina found a pulse, but Kai convinced her they needed to get out of there before anyone saw them. It was Tracy, Jane Elliott, who arrived at Drew's house and spotted her gunned-down nephew. Her aunt instincts kicked in when she called 911, and Drew was brought to GH in critical condition. Who shot Drew? Now that the news of Drew's shooting is teased to shock Port Charles on September 4th, Anna, Finola Hughes, Dante, Dominic Zamprogna, and Chase, Josh Swickard, are about to have their work cut out for them trying to find the shooter. Tracy can most likely be ruled out, but does anyone else have an alibi? Michael, Rory Gibson, came home soaking wet from the rain without a word on where he'd been, while Willow, Caitlin McMullen, went MIA from work only to also show up soaking wet in her scrubs. She fainted when Chase told her the news, but that doesn't rule her out as a suspect. While Alexis, Nancy Lee Grawn, Nina, Cynthia Watros, and Curtis, Donnell Turner, weren't even seen. Carly, Laura Wright, was far too preoccupied with her relationship with Brennan, Chris McKenna, to have been the shooter. And that only leaves one person. Portia Brooke Kerr was only seen hopping back into bed with Isaiah, saw Andy Wilson, before being interrupted by a call from the hospital. And even if Isaiah is her alibi, she'll never want to admit it. After months of manipulation, betrayal, and scheming, Drew's luck finally ran out on General Hospital. On the September 2nd episode, the once heroic Navy SEAL was gunned down in the back, twice, leaving fans with a brand new whodunit to unravel. With enemies stacked against him, nearly everyone in Port Charles had a motive, and Drew's fate now hangs in the balance. But for Cameron Matheson, who has played Drew since 2021, stepping into the role of the man everyone loves to hate has been a journey all its own. It's just waiting for the right moment to resurface and rewrite the future. Tune in for an hour of breathtaking performances, shocking revelations, and emotional devastation. When the credits roll on September 5th, the landscape of Port Charles will be forever altered. Who will be left standing? And what new alliances will form in the ashes of the day's mayhem? Drew's Matheson fall from grace has been a slow burn. Over the past year, he's blackmailed Portia Brooke Kerr, tried to sever Scout's Cosette Abinante connection to Sam's Kelly Monaco family, and even abused his power as a congressman to sic fraud investigators on Stella Vernay Watson. Matheson explained to Soap Opera Digest that this downward spiral wasn't accidental. Obviously, everybody hates me like crazy, but at the same time, they had to do that for the last 4 or 5 months, he stated. He further noted that it wasn't just enough to have people dislike Drew, they have to have people want to kill me. For the actor, this transformation has been both challenging and oddly liberating. Matheson admitted that he's found playing such a despicable version of Drew surprisingly therapeutic. I try to be a really nice human and a good, solid person in my life, and I've gone through a lot of big life challenges in a very short stretch of time, he shared. Taking on Drew's worst impulses has become an outlet, almost like my little fantasy escape. Falling hard for the storyline. With Drew at the center of a major Who Shot Drew storyline and September 3rd teasing his shooter's identity being at large, Matheson is leaning fully into the chaos. He compared it to one of television's most famous cliffhangers, Who Shot JR? From Dallas. For him, being the target only adds to the thrill. I don't care if you are the punching bag for all of Port Charles, you're still the center of the story, and that feels really cool, he noted. When it came time to film the shooting, he approached it with verve. It's not every day that you get to take a gunshot on camera, and I really wanted to get that right and fall hard. Knowing how much viewers despise Drew right now, he relished giving them the drama they craved. They all want to shoot Drew, he quipped, adding, everybody wants Drew shot and dead. So I wanted to make sure that I gave them my all. See if you agree with a possible list of suspects. An interesting theory about Drew having shot himself in General Hospital is making the rounds on the internet. For those unfamiliar, before the tragedy, Drew was at home. He poured himself a drink, glanced at the engagement ring he had given Willow, and then at their framed photo. As he stayed lost in thought, a mysterious individual appeared from behind and shot him. Many now believe the culprit might be none other than Drew himself. Here's why a Facebook user shared an interesting theory, claiming that Drew might be responsible for his own shooting. He might have bribed someone to shoot him just to put more weight on his side against Michael. Doing so, he might also be able to pull Willow's attention to him. Most fans agreed to the theory, as Drew could possibly play such a plot to achieve his personal motives. However, some fans believe he wouldn't have done it, as he's unlikely to put his life at stake for such petty games. In a conversation with Soap Opera Digest, Drew's portrayer, Cameron Matheson, revealed,